Hello friends, welcome back to VOWIAS. Welcome to the discussion on daily MCQ. Today is 8th of March 2022 and now we are going to discuss 5 MCQs based on the current affairs. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं. But before we begin, a small information. The PDF of the discussion will be available in our Telegram channel. The Telegram channel details are there in the description. You can go and download it from there. Now let's quickly begin with the first question. Consider the following. First one, right to education. Second one, right to equal access to public service. And third one, right to food. Which of the above are part of the human rights under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Okay, this Universal Declaration of Human Rights is given by UN. Okay, so you have to choose the correct option. A 1 only, B 1 and 2, C 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. So if you see this question, it was asked in 2011. Now these kind of questions on human rights will become important from time to time. So that's why you have to focus on this. So if you see here, the right to education is a basic right. It's a basic right. So it is part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It is even part of the fundamental rights. Right to equal access to public service. This is also part of the human rights. It is even part of the fundamental rights in India. And right to food. Right to food is also part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So correct option here would be D 1, 2 and 3. Recently, India abstained a vote on the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. The Council moved the resolution to set up an international commission of inquiry into Russia's actions in Ukraine. Article 25 says that everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, medical care, etc. So all these things, all these things are very important for the livelihood of any person, and the circumstances are beyond his control. Article 21(2) says that everyone has the right to equal access to public service in the country, and Article 26(1) talks about right to education. This is these are the things which are directly there in the UN Declaration of Human Rights. The UN Human Rights Council is an intergovernmental body within the United Nations which is responsible for strengthening promotion and protection of human rights around the globe. The council was created by the UN General Assembly in 2006 and it replaced the former UN Commission on Human Rights. So currently the headquarters is there in Geneva, Switzerland. Now let's look at the next question. The second question. Consider the following statements with respect to the Great Barrier Reef. First one, it is the world's largest coral reef complex located in the Pacific Ocean. Second one, it is larger than Great Wall of China. You have to choose the correct option. A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2 and D neither 1 nor 2. Correct option is C, both 1 and 2. As you all know, the Great Barrier Reef is there in Australia. It is there in the Pacific waters. Okay, it is there in the Pacific waters. It is towards the eastern Australia, right? So recently a report was published by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change stating that the Great Barrier Reef is in crisis and it is suffering grave impacts from the climate change. Great Barrier Reef is one of the world's largest coral reef complex located in the Pacific Ocean of northeastern Australia. It can be seen even from the outer space and is the biggest single structure made by living organisms. It is composed of billions of tiny organisms known as coral polyps. These polyps have microscopic algae called zooxanthellae living within the tissues. The corals and algae have mutualistic relationship. It was selected as the World Heritage Site in 1981. Within the Great Barrier Reef, there are 2,500 individual reefs of varying sizes and shapes and over 900 islands. It is larger than Great Wall of China. 99% of the Great Barrier Reef lies within the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park at 344,400 square kilometers, and the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, which is an independent Australian government agency, is responsible for the protection and management of the marine park. Okay. Now let's look at the next question, the third question. Consider the following pairs: Garba, Gujarat; Theyyam, Kerala; and third, Yakshagana, Odisha. Which of the following are correctly matched? A 1 only, B 2 and 3, C 1 and 2, and D 1, 2 and 3. Correct option is C 1 and 2 because Yakshagana, if you see, it belongs to Karnataka. The art form belongs to Karnataka. So that's why the statement 3 or third option is wrong. Recently, Kerala Tourism Department has started live streaming of an annual festival called Theyyam. Theyyam is basically a ritual form of dance worship in Kerala and Karnataka. Each Theyyam is a man or a woman who attained divine status by performing heroic deeds or by leading a virtuous life. Most Thayyams are believed to be incarnations of Shiva and Shakti, or they have strong association with the principal deities of Hinduism. Yakshagana, if you see, it is a theatrical art form of Karnataka, originally all-night performance, where the Mela travel from one village to another. It is also performed in South Kannada districts of Karnataka and Kasaragod district of Kerala. It is performed in open-air theatres and is usually performed in the village paddy fields where the winter crop is harvested. Each performance typically focuses on small sub-story from ancient Hindu epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So Garba is the dance form originated in the Gujarat region. Traditionally, it is performed during the 9-day Hindu festival of Navaratri. Either the lamp or an image of goddess Durga is placed in the middle of concentric rings, and the people who dance around the center, bending side step at every step, their arms making sweeping gestures, each moving ending in a clap. So these are the things. Okay. Now let's look at the next question, the fourth question. State of India's Environment Report was in news recently. It is the annual publication of A, World Economic Forum, B, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, option B, and C, Center for Science and Environment, and D, the IUCN. You have to choose the correct option. So recently this was released, and it is released by C, Center for Science and Environment, CSC. Recently this was released by CSC. So that's why this was in news. The report is the Center for Science and Environment's and down to its annual publication. Climate change, migration, health and food systems are among the issues addressed in this report. It covers the biodiversity, forest, wildlife and conservation, energy, habitat, industry, pollution, waste, agriculture, rural development, and CSC is a New Delhi public-based interest research and advocacy organization. Okay, now let's look at the next question, the fifth question. The term Karewa, sometimes mentioned in media, is associated to A, the shallow lagoons or inlet of sea lying parallel to the coastline. B, the thick deposits of glacial clay and other materials embedded with moraine. C, karst topography, and D, ritual form of dance worship in Kerala and Karnataka. So karst topography you might have read in your geography. So these are the thick deposits of glacial clay and other materials embedded with moraines. So B is the correct answer. The Kashmir's highly fertile alluvial soil deposits are called Karewas and are destroyed in the name of development. That's why this was in news. Karewa formation has the link with the Kashmir Himalayas, and these are lacustrine deposits of the Pleistocene age. They are thick deposits of glacial clay and other materials embedded within moraines. They are unconsolidated lacustrine deposits. So lacustrine means associated to lakes. The Karewa deposits have different soil and sediments like sand, clay, silt, shale, mud, lignite and losses. Hence they are very useful for agricultural and horticulture devices. Okay. So these are the 5 questions of the day. And before I leave a small information, so currently we are giving an offer, a combo offer, where we are providing the summaries of Vision Prelims Test Series and Vision Monthly Magazine from Jan 2021 to June 2022. You can subscribe to it by visiting our Telegram channel. New students gets 10% off, and they can subscribe to it at rupees 1440, and old students get a flat off of 20%, and they can subscribe to it at just 1280 rupees. Okay, you can check the details in the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel details are there in the description. So make the best use of this. The offer is valid till 11th of March. Okay, so that's it guys from my side. I'll see you again tomorrow with 5 more MCQs. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind.